Good evening. My name is Nick Sturgeon, President of the Speedway Town Council. It is 7 o'clock on February 24th, and I call this meeting to order. Please rise and recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will start with introductions, and to my far right is Town Manager Grant Kleinhans.
Good evening.
Next to him is Councilor Sarah Gardner.
Good evening.
To my far left is Town Attorney Ted Nolting.
Good evening.
Next to him is our Clerk Treasurer Philip Faust.
Good evening.
Next to him is Councilor Vince Noblet
Good evening.
and Council Vice President Jason Delisle.
Good evening.
All right, moving on. Call for the approval of minutes for the February 10th, 2025 meeting.
I'll make a motion for the approval of minutes of our February 10th, 2025 meeting.
I'll second it.
Any comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes of the February 10th, 2025 meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 3, memorandum, and I will call for approval of memorandum of administrative session of the Speedway Town Council on February 10th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve our memorandum of administrative session of the Speedway Town Council on February 10th, 2025.
I'll second it.
Any comments, questions, discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the memorandum of administrative session of the Speedway Town Council on February 10th, 2025, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 4, approval of memorandum of joint executive session of the Speedway Town Council and Redevelopment Commission on February 18th, 2025.
I'll make a motion for the approval of a memorandum of the joint executive session of the Town of Speedway Council and the Speedway Redevelopment Commission on February 18th, 2025.
A second.
Any discussion, comments, questions? Okay. Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving memorandum of joint executive session of the Speedway Town Council and Redevelopment Commission on February 18th, 2025, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 5, IMS Rev Event Special Request to extend the Town of Speedway noise ordinance. Grant.
So annually, the Rev event, which happens this year on Saturday, May the 3rd, which is a fundraiser for IU Health, they will have a band and a DJ, and there will be noise that will go beyond the normal hours. So they request of us every year if they can extend that noise ordinance till midnight. And we have reviewed that with the police department. We make sure the community knows and is aware of that event and the noise. It has not been a major problem in the past, so we recommend someone make a motion to extend that noise ordinance for that evening only till midnight and allow them to have that DJ.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that IMS Rev event special request to extend the Town of Speedway noise ordinance as stated.
Second.
Any comments, questions, discussion?
I live on Auburn, and there are really not hardly any noises that would come out of there. You'd think that they would, as much alcohol is being served, but no, it's really it's very tame.
Yeah, being a former employee of IU Health, I know this is one of their big events that the foundation puts on, goes to good use. It's a great event from what I've been told. So I, even though I won't hold it against my former employer though.
Grant, what's the normal hour?
11.
11, okay, that's what I thought. So it's just 1 hour, okay.
Yep.
Any other comments, discussions, questions? All right, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of extending the Town of Speedway noise ordinance for the IMS Rev event, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 6, approval of bid for property and casualty insurance. Philip?
Thank you. We've discussed property and casualty insurance multiple times over the past few months, and the extension that we received expires on March 1st. To date, we've received really 1.5 quotes. So Liberty Mutual has provided a complete quote for us that would replace our current insurance in terms of commercial auto, general liability, public officials liability, property, umbrella, et cetera. That quote, though, is for $553,670, and that would take us through March 1st of 2026. So we've talked about before, this is a significant increase from our 2024 premium. It will have a budgetary impact, most likely. We did receive just today what I would call a half quote, so from an insurance company called Chubb, and that quote would be for the property side only. Comes in on a little bit less than what Liberty would have for that specific line item for property only, but once you unbundle the Liberty quote, you lose certain bundle discounts, and it ends up being a little bit worse for us if we were to unbundle it. We do have one other carrier that potentially will come back with a quote later this week. So if the council is interested in continuing to give a little bit more time, just in case that better quote that we all are hoping for does come through, then I would ask that you give me the authority to negotiate with either carrier and to go ahead and agree on the town's behalf to an insurance premium and program that does not exceed the amount that we have from the Liberty Mutual quote of $553,670. Happy to try to answer any other questions you might have, though.
I'll make a motion to approve our bid for property and casualty insurance not to exceed $553,670.
I'll second it.
Any comments, questions, discussion for Philip?
I would go ahead and add in there that you authorize Philip to negotiate and execute up to that amount.
All right, I will amend my motion. I'll just go ahead and restate.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve our bid for property and casualty insurance not to exceed $553,670 and give Philip the authority to negotiate
And execute
the
new contract for insurance.
the contract for insurance
With either company.
with either company.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, any questions, comments?
No, I mean, I know we've talked at length. I know, Philip, you've worked on this. This is a big increase, a lot of things out of our hands. And I mean, unfortunately, you have to have insurance. So thank you for all the work you've done and hopefully continue to do. And maybe you'll pull out something really cool in the next few days. And it won't be quite as big of an impact, but if it is what it is, right? And like we were talking about, cyclical and may come back, and we'll just keep doing what we can do on our end, like we talked about as the town. If there's things we can control to lower this, we'll look into it and try to figure it out and just keep doing what we can. So thank you, Phil.
And, for the record, we're not the only ones being affected by the increases in premiums this year. This is other cities, towns, municipalities are being affected as well.
Right. We can't really control where we're located.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, any other discussion? If not, I will call for a vote to approve the bid for property and casualty insurance not to exceed $553,670 and give Philip the authority to negotiate and execute on the town's behalf
With either company.
with either company. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes 4-0. All right. Item 7, approval of claims and utility adjustments. Philip.
Thank you. I do have requests for both, and both cover the time period of February 6th, 2025 through February 19th, 2025. The adjustments are for 4 customers and cover 2 pages. And these were, 3 out of the 4 were for leak adjustments. So people discovered they had a leak, they repaired it, provided us proof of that, and then we adjust the sewer portion of their bill. And then one of them was this person's meter couldn't be read 1 month, so it was estimated at the time, and then once we had an actual read, we could tell that it was overestimated, and so we went back and fixed that. The claims are on 15 pages, and they're in the amount of $2,498,535.85.
I'll make a motion to approve our claims and utility adjustments as presented.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions for Philip? Okay, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of approving claims and utility adjustments as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 8, town manager report.
I have 14 items. I'm just kidding. I have 4 items that I would like to review with you this evening. Because of school spring break on March the 24th, we will go ahead and notice cancellation of that meeting. We will have then only one meeting in March, on March the 10th. And that will be a fairly large agenda. I know we have a bid, a couple of other items, potentially a union contract or maybe both. So we will cancel the March 24th council agenda. The casual conversations with the town manager will be held this Friday. This is the first quarter event. It's a little later than usual, and it is in the morning, 8:30 to 10 a.m. in this room on Friday, this Friday, the 28th. I've been asked, well, why do you do it in the morning? The previous 2 that we did were both in the evening. So we try to switch it around to allow different folks who have different schedules. Single mothers who have children that they need to get to school, they can come, or people that work a night shift can come if it's during the day. We try to do 2 or 3 different times. So that is this Friday.
You serving coffee?
I think we'll have some refreshments.
Good.
Crew car wash. I know that has been a point of discussion on Facebook. This has been an issue that we've had for the past 3.5 years since the project was built, constructed, and opened. I would also say that this is not a problem that is only geographically located here in Speedway. Every other crew car wash that you go to in and around Indianapolis has similar problems. What I would say is if you pull up and it looks backed up, you need to move on so that it doesn't get backed up. We have required that school there, I think it's a Montessori school, to open one of their driveways to connect to the road behind them to allow potential additional opportunities for people to circulate through the area. I requested of the SRC this past few weeks, I want them to pay for the hiring, because it is an economic development project, the hiring of a consultant to put together a couple of options that we can discuss with crew for physical improvements to their site that we think will help alleviate some of the problem. But on a nice day, when 100 people want to get their car washed, there's going to be an issue. We cannot build the roads large enough. But these combination of things, I think, will lead to lessened amount of traffic down the road. The other thing is that school probably should have been built about 2 years ago, but the economy, COVID, has slowed all of that down. When this was put together, that was part of that concept, was that road would help. So that's my spiel on that, and I'm sticking to that. Crawfordsville Road pedestrian project will bid on Wednesday. I believe it's at 4 p.m. We're hoping, I think there were 10 plan sets that have been taken out thus far. We're hoping to get a good bid similar to what we got on 25th Street. Once the bids are open and reviewed, that will be on the March 10th agenda for the council to consider and approve. And remember, we have a $2.3 million grant from the Metropolitan Planning Organization to assist in paying for that project. President Sturgeon has been trying to get that signed, making multiple requests to the state and the MPO, and hopefully they'll get that to us because that has been approved by us. So when that is bid, we'll get that one started this spring, and then we also have an RFP that will be going out in relation to construction inspection services for that project and the 25th Street. They will be doubled up, or we might have the option of separating them depending on what type of RFP responses we get back. We are sending it out to about 8 different firms that will be posted on the website. Someone might ask, well, aren't you sending it out to everybody? We are sending it out. It's going to be on our website. When you work with a firm, you want to know that firm and their capabilities. We have established relationships with a lot of these firms, and we hope that 1 or 2 of them will give us a good price. So that's all I've got for this evening.
I got a question for you, Grant. You know, you mentioned that crew is aware of what is happening. I mean, they have multiple locations across the state. I heard that our location is probably one of the busiest in this area. And so I would think that they were well aware of the situation, you know, as opening up and getting into it. Have they looked at hiring a police officer to help move the traffic along?
We have not gone to that level, but I think it is time now that we are going to have to go to that level potentially. When I was in Brownsburg and we did a crew car wash, we actually required them to put about 70 cars worth of stacking on their site. Not really possible here. You can get about 30. But we also required them to put a sign out on the main road, Green Street, that said, we're not taking more cars right now, so that they would not back up. We enforce that relentlessly. We don't have an agreement like that here, but that is something that I'm going to discuss with crew. We're trying to get a meeting with them shortly, but this is like everything. It's not going to be solved right now. It's something that all of these parts working together should solve ultimately the problem.
Right. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
I'll just say I appreciate you, Grant, listening to concerns of constituents and working on the town's behalf to try and figure something out. So, you know, I think we've all heard issues with crew and, I appreciate you tackling that and seeing what we can do to help improve that.
Yeah, I got a pretty nasty voicemail. I think it was on Friday. And I listened to it and I called the gentleman back and I was just as kind as I could be. And by the end, he was like, I'm sorry about that message. And I said, that's okay. We understand your passion and we appreciate that you care about Speedway enough to get that upset. So we deal with that stuff. It's just part of the job. Doesn't make us feel great sometimes. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, just use some common sense.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for Grant? All right, move on to councilor reports. Councilor Sarah Gardner.
Yeah, just 2 things tonight. One is our State of the Town that's tomorrow, so 6:30 at Delara. Last year we had it in here, so it's going to be fun to have it on Main Street at Delara. So that's open to the public, so come out. Lots of great reports from what happened last year, what's coming up, so make sure you come to that if you can. And then stealing the Lions Club, all 3 of you, thunder, because I'm first, but that is this Saturday. So come get your pancakes.
Okay, raise her dues.
You should put me last, right? But ladies first. So come get your pancakes, and there's tons of vendors too that come. I know usually soccer's there and the garden club and just all kinds of the library. So come out and just see local businesses, support them, support the Lions Club. They do so much for our community. So if you are free, it's from 8 till 11 on Saturday at the high school. So come out and support. That's all I have.
All right. Thanks, Sarah. And next, Councilor Vince Noblet.
Just a couple things. I will not be able to make the State of the Town address here. I have an engagement, employer engagement, so that will keep me busy for 2 or 3 days. But I did read everything in relationship to it, and I think it's always great to have a large number of citizens show up to the event, and they can talk with their counselors, and afterwards is a great time to just kind of have a year-end review in relationship to where we're going and where we've been. So appreciate it. Sorry I miss it. Thank you.
All right, Vice President Jason Delisle.
Yeah, in addition to the Lions Club, pancake breakfast, I did want to mention the Speedway Athletic Booster Club had their Booster Bash last Saturday, and that's one of the largest events that the Booster Club holds. Raised a ton of money that's really all going back to the high school and junior high athletics. Pays for uniforms, transportation to and from games. And it's just, every year, I'm just amazed at the generosity of residents, former classmates, former students, educators. It's just pretty amazing to see everybody come together and help donate and see what we can do to help our athletic department. So just want to say thanks to everybody that donated, as well as everybody on the Booster Club that helped put that event together. It was fantastic.
All right. And I really don't have anything. So it being 7:21, I will call our fourth meeting of the year adjourned.